this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a marvelous day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. So as we continue to establish ourselves as Black Americans, we have to continue to remind people that we are not people of color. We are Black. There are those who would like to force us into this identity of being people of color. Now, it doesn't matter how much many of us say, I'm not a person of color, I'm Black. They have these bought off people, especially these actresses and actors and people that are in the pocket of people who want to force us into this identity. They're out there saying that all the time, people of color, people of color. But many of us don't like that moniker. We like being Black, period. And I believe this is trying to keep us away from our racial pride and identity, because people have been able to manipulate us for so long, calling us what they want to call us, that they don't want us to just say, I'm Black. I came across this article, Who Are People of the Global Majority and White Matters? And I thought I would delve into that and see what it's saying and listen to what it says. If you were to ask a child, are there more white people or people of color in the world? Almost all children would say white people. Why is that? United States movies, books, films, history, pop culture, children's magazines, toys, and podcasts almost exclusively center the experiences and lives of white people. This white centering, plus often used terms like ethnic minorities, gives children a distorted understanding of how many non-white people there are in the world. The term people of the global majority disrupts white supremacy, culture, and ideology. Keep reading to learn how. Well, I intend to. Define people of the global majority. People of the global majority refers to Black people, indigenous people, brown people, Latinx people, particularly indigenous and Afro-Latinos, Pacific Islanders, Native Hawaiians, the Inuit communities, Alaska Natives, Native Americans, Arabs, Western Asians, Middle Easterners with dark skin, North Africans, Southeast Asians, South Asians, East Asians, Africans with dark skin, and biracial and multiracial people who are mixed with one or more of the above, and people and groups who can't access white privilege. That's a lot of people, and many of us have very little in common. This isn't a perfect definition. It's important to keep in mind that there are both white and non-white folks who hold different ethnicities that are also targeted by white domination. Yeah, but those people don't want to be Black. And that's what I mean about trying to force people into a category, including Black people, that they don't want to be in. How people of the global majority disrupts white supremacy culture. Growing up in a white supremacist culture can make it exceedingly difficult to see the white supremacy that surrounds us. As it is often said, the longer you swim in a culture, the more invisible it becomes. White supremacy culture is the widespread ideology baked into the beliefs, values, norms, and standards of our groups, many if not most of them, communities, towns, states, and nations, teaching us both overtly and covertly that whiteness holds more value than any other group. Using people of the global majority directly disrupts white supremacy ideology culture. But how? Debunks the minority myth. As children are developing, they absorb what our culture tells them implicitly through language, art, customs, and schooling. Because of the phenomenon of white centering in American society, children see more white people than people of the global majority in the content they absorb and implicitly associate white skin with the majority and the norm. Well, that is absolutely true. The term people of the global majority challenges this myth. Using a term like people of the global majority reminds children every time they use it that this is a falsehood and an offshoot of intentional white domination manipulation. The truth is that there are more people of color in this world than white people. 85% of the global population are people of the global majority. Empowers people of the global majority. A white supremacist society like the United States intentionally manipulates language and customs to deny power to people of the global majority. The term minorities reinforces the racial hierarchy in the United States, implying that people of the global majority are outnumbered in this society and therefore less powerful. Using people of the global majority as a term empowers the people it refers to, reminding everyone that globally white people are in the minority. I think articles like this are written for black people to try to keep black people in line and keep us striving to be a part of somebody else's group, because now black people are talking about reparations and black empowerment and be one and creating our own societies. And so I think that's scary to people. So they're trying to say, oh, no. We're all in the global majority and we can take white supremacy on together. We know that is not true. We know that these other races of people, every group that they mentioned that makes up the global majority, are people who are striving to assimilate into white society. Look at Ramaswamy, whatever his name is, Ramaswamy, and what's her name? Nikki Haley. Those people are of Indian descent. They were running for president of the United States, and they didn't even reach out to their own Indian community. That's how desperate they are to assimilate into white society. So these articles like this are written for black people. You are a part of the global majority. Look at all of these groups of people that you are a part of. We can fight this white supremacy together. No, they want us to fight it. But in the meantime, they're behind our backs trying to make a deal with white supremacy. Does not center whiteness. Words matter. Language reflects our history, perspective, and where we still have anti-racism work to do. Terms like people of color, black, indigenous, and non-white all still center whiteness. This is most clear in the term non-white, which emphasizes that the people being referred to are not white and that white people are the default in our language. Using people of the global majority challenges the racist underpinning of our language that the word people defaults to white people and reminds us that people with black and brown skin are the global majority and white people are the minority. Are your children or students curious about skin color? Here's why it's so important to talk about diverse skin tones. Applies to a global context. The term people of color is a term that black people in the United States reclaimed from the harmful term colored people that was used to inflict discrimination and hatred on black people for generations in the United States. For this reason, terms like people of color are entangled in a complex American historical context. This ostracizes people of the global majority who are not American or are not specifically black. Well, I don't understand that. I don't see what that has to do with them. And furthermore, I don't believe that black people in the United States reclaimed the harmful term colored people and turned it into people of color. That was shoved down our throats. What they say about the N-word is that black people reclaimed the N-word. That's what the rappers say. I don't even agree with that. But I definitely don't agree that black people decided to reclaim people of color and start calling ourselves people of color. That's something that was shoved down our throats by somebody else. Probably Democrats or some kind of think tank that's always trying to corral us in so that we don't have a specific identity. So I disagree with this. People of other ethnicities may not fully embrace the people of color terminology because it is so linked and intertwined with blackness in American culture. Using the term people of the global majority decenters America and the unique experience of African Americans when talking about people of the global majority. See, erasing us as African Americans or black Americans and calling ourselves people of the global majority. So that's somebody else trying to tell us how to define ourselves, trying to mix in with people who don't want to mix in with us. And truth be told, we don't want to mix in with them either because they don't have any character. But be aware of the risk of erasure. Yeah, well, we already are. In the United States, people of the global majority have a shared history of being pushed out, denied access, and made to feel perpetually othered and not American enough. A prime example is the commonly asked question, "Where are you from?" When white strangers, co-workers, Uber drivers, hairstylists, or baristas ask people of the global majority, they're actually highlighting the current power structure. White people are viewed as neutral. They're the assumed default, always centered in the conversation, and they always belong in the United States. Well, people don't ask me where I'm from. But just because people of the global majority have in many ways a shared history of discrimination in the United States does not mean their experiences were equal or necessarily comparable. It's very important to remember that lumping all of these groups together into one category can be a form of erasure. Yes, we know that. If you're discussing a particular group, groups, or persons, refer to the group by a specific identity. For instance, instead of Britt Hawthorne is a woman of color, it's more accurate to state Britt Hawthorne is a black biracial woman. So see, I knew it was something tricky about this. So she's black biracial. She doesn't want to be just black. So she's made up this cock and bull mess. Your task is to call people in. Accepted and respectable terms to describe people change often in our culture. While it is everyone's responsibility to keep up with and educate themselves about the new terminology, have grace with people who have not caught up yet, so to speak, and won't catch up to this. Rather than say no, you can't say people of color anymore. How do you not know that? Try something like, I'm using people of the global majority instead of people of color. Can I tell you about it? Feel free to share this blog post too. And in that conversation, think through ways that you and your family can recenter the art and experiences of people of the global majority. Take a look at the books in your home collection or Netflix queue. What percentage of the art centers white people as the main characters? Try to recenter people of the global majority in 85% of the art your child consumes. Considering 85% of the global population are people of the global majority, this can help your child better grasp the truth. To get started, explore my recommendation for people of the global community, centering books for Valentine's Day and Martin Luther King Jr. Day. As always, I'm rooting for you. Well, I think that she just needs to get her own identity straight and not try to impose this on other people. Okay, y'all, let me know what you think about the video. Thank you for listening. Subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, share the video, and as always, have a great day.